Hey everybody, this is Erin Davis, therapist with Hands of Hope, and I wanted to talk to you today about Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and I wanted to go over the basics of what healthy, unhealthy, and abusive relationships look like for teens. So adults have an easier time of identifying these things because we see it in each other, we have the opportunity to talk about it. Teenagers don't get that same chance. A lot of times they're trying to learn that healthy thing from each other. And I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I didn't have all the right answers. I still don't have all the right answers. So let's look at a resource that gives us some really great information on what that looks like. So today we're going to look at loveisrespect.org. They have some really excellent resources. They actually even have a quiz for folks to take to see if you're a good partner, which, sometimes we question ourselves, or, answer it from your partner's point of view, get a gauge on what you feel like your relationship looks like. One of the best tools that they have is this relationship spectrum to look at what is healthy, unhealthy, and what is abusive. So when we think about teenagers, remember, they're interacting in ways that are more complicated now than before. The digital world has changed how teen dating works. So let's take a look at that first point, communicating. Communicating is complicated. A lot of teens, when I was a teen, I spent most of my time texting with a significant other, and that's still the case, except now we use lots of different apps like Snapchat and WhatsApp and Messenger, and we just have a lot of ways to do that. So it's okay that they use those tools to communicate as long as they're doing it in a respectful and kind way. So when we look at communication now, it's going to be awkward. So a lot of times teens will use that texting option so that it takes some of the awkwardness out. That's absolutely appropriate. Now, when we look at that respectful point, respect can look a little weird when you don't know the language. So I'm going to encourage you, if you have a teenager you're not sure about, ask them about their language, ask them what it means. Ask them to make sure that you know what's going on. And if anything, it also shows that you're interested. I want to note here that mistreating is defined per person, which means that if your teenager feels mistreated, even if you think it's minimal, respect that feeling. Respect that they feel disrespected and respect that they feel mistreated. Trust. So trust grows over time. It means that teens are not overly invested in checking into each other's phones. I encourage most teenagers, don't do that thing where we all have our password to our various social medias of our significant other. That's not appropriate. Everybody deserves to have their own privacy. And if you feel like you have to have your significant other's password and check in on their information, that's telling us something about not trusting that person. And ask yourself, what's going on? Honesty is a big deal. There are lots of ways online to be dishonest, lots of ways to hide the truth, lots of ways to avoid the truth. So we want to make sure that we are being honest, and that if someone doesn't trust that we're being honest, we take that seriously, because that can be very abusive. Next, we look at equality. That means everybody is in charge of ourselves, because the only people in the whole wide world we can control is ourselves. We cannot control any other person. So when someone else starts to tell us what we can do, where we can go, who we can see, that's not appropriate. They don't get to decide that information for us. A lot of times teens, I find that I've worked with, will start feeling that control pinch when it's, well, why are you talking to so-and-so? Why are you texting them? It's okay to text your friends. It's okay to text other people. It's just part of life. It's being social. Time spending. So it's important for us to spend time together and to spend time apart, which also includes taking time away from our phones. So it's very intense in the beginning when we want to talk all the time, but make sure we put that phone down and we interact with friends and family. Mutual choices, which means that everyone is giving an enthusiastic and consistent yes to whatever participation we are engaging with. So if your partner hesitates and says, yeah, I guess, ask questions, ask them, you don't have to go, it's up to you. Don't pressure your friends into doing things they don't want to do. Don't pressure your significant other. And it's okay to say, hey, if you don't want to go, I'm going to go. And it's okay that you don't want to go. Last but not least, economic and financial partners. So for teenagers, people can use money as manipulation. And we don't always see that as teens. Sometimes we feel like it's very sweet that someone wants to pay for us all the time. That's great. And if they have the ability to do that, fabulous. If they start to lean towards you owe me, or they start using that language of I pay for you all the time, therefore you are mine, any sort of ownership, no, that starts to get into that unhealthy and abusive issue. I do want to point out in abusive relationships, especially with teens, this idea of ownership and then isolation. So a lot of times that isolation can look like you're only going to talk to me, only ever me. And sometimes it's you will only spend time with friends when I'm around. If your teenager's phone is blowing up and it's their significant other trying to get a hold of them over and over again, that's usually a pretty dangerous sign. Last but not least, I want to just say, ask. I want to say it again over and over and over. Ask, talk to your teenagers, talk to them about what healthy looks like, talk to them about what their relationships look like, and ask how it's going. Ask them how they feel. And if they're giddy, don't make fun of it. Enjoy it with them, congratulate them, hang out with their significant other as well. That SO is going to be a big part of their life for a little while. So spend time with them, get to know the people they know. So again, I'm Erin Davis. I'm a therapist with Hands of Hope, and Hands of Hope really wants to encourage that healthy teen dating relationship. We have lots of information for you on our website over at famservices.com. We also have a Facebook full of information, which is Hands of Hope on Facebook. And if you have questions or concerns, please call and we can be helpful. 765-664-0701 is our 24-hour hotline, especially if you think your teen needs some pretty significant assistance, please call. And then Family Service Society is there to help as well. If you have questions or concerns, they can connect you with appropriate resources, and that's 765-662-9971. So thanks for your time. I hope this was helpful. What are some successful ways you've seen teens do the dating thing? What are some of the best teen dates that you've ever seen? So share us with us in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.